So IP has been recently pinged on a list of some inline JavaScript we're fetching JavaScript asynchronously, and then we eval it. And we're concerned about using eval because of security reasons, and it's also maintainability reasons. So yeah, is this the list of
Yes. So, woof. So it's a bit weird because the list I have in mind is a bit different. Oops, clicking the wrong link. So new HTML save. I don't see really how this is concerning. Like okay. I was more thinking along the lines of these weird files. So we have these let me just look for them. Yeah, so we have these weird files. So we have files that are JS files and that are either generated via HAML or ERB. And I was thinking along the lines of those.
are weird files.
So for example, we have like this, right?
Yep.
Which basically escapes JavaScript, whatever, renders something into a members list, and then, replaces like a list item with that member.
Oh, man.
Yes. And to be honest, like, I don't even know when it's executed. I assume it has something to do with the Rails UJS logic, because all of these files, or a lot of these, are like update.js, show.js, destroy.js, right? Which seem to kind of have a connection to these interactions, if you delete something. I don't know if we want to look into those. We could. But it might be a bit of a rabbit hole, and we won't know what we find on the other side of the mirror.
Well, you know, sometimes tumbling down the rabbit hole leads to interesting insights into the world around you and yourself. So,
okay,
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Meanwhile, my GDK is updating. GDK.
Okay. do you want me to drive? I just updated yesterday.
No, it should be fine. It shouldn't take long. I also think it should just be working. It's like, how would we like? So update.js, are these just automatically loaded somehow?
No, so they're going to be rendered. So I would do a global grep on render.star update.js.
Oh, that's smart. Update.js, right?
Yeah, something like that. Oh gosh.
Maybe without updates somehow, like
maybe.
Yeah, that wasn't that smart. But it should be in HAML files, right? Okay, these don't look like.
Are they even loaded then? Like, that's one question too. Are we sure this is even loaded?
This is a very good question. Maybe it makes sense to copy the path and go down the history route.
Yeah.
Maybe look when they were introduced. Like, they probably are a bit older. History.
It looks like it was. I imagine it was just part of improve member services.
Move update action. Format.js render shared members update. So if this is gone, like if we can't find this at all, there we do it. Format.js, this is the reason why we didn't find it. So.
Oh, wow. So if you go, so for this endpoint.
Yeah.
If we somewhere request update.js.
Yes.
we will return that JavaScript.
Yes. So, and it looks like it's just like in the normal groups controller or whatever, right?
I'm scared, IP. And I like it, so let's keep going.
I'm scared. That's great.
Oh yeah, that's so so I'm wondering, so this could be something that we fetch and then eval. That could be a thing that we're doing there. But I would expect to see at least like update, just maybe at least update.js somewhere in the code base.
Let's search for it again.
Yeah, I just did a project-wide search for it. I don't see anything. The other thing is we could try running, our members and just try to update a member and see if that JavaScript ever gets pinged in the network or if it gets loaded or something.
I assume it just gets loaded if you actually update something. Oh, request this. Okay, that's a good sign. Running just takes a startup just takes a while, especially if you're sharing via Zoom, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, I just assume that if you update a team member, it does its thing, right? So because it's like tied to this update route, right? It's like, hey, we have it here in the root and we have respond to format, shared team member updates. And I just assume that, this is.
Oh, it
What?
must. What must be? Oh, so I'm trying to think. What is the point here? What I guess might have been the point here, and you might have already picked up on this, but I'm just now realizing it. It must be after so this update is like a post, so it must be after we've done the action. This is the response we get, and then we're gonna like update everything. Oh, and so then is that what they were talking about? This like we have these global evals on these Ajax Oh,
And so now the tricky part is because you probably don't use Vue for these. The tricky part might be, so let's try. What happens if we delete update? Okay, what's update? So post. Okay, this doesn't load anything. Update.js maintainer. No. Maybe removing someone. Okay, removing someone completely reloads the page. So I assume it's adding someone to a project?
or changing their changing their like on the drop down there.
No, adding someone also. Wait a second.
If you change in the drop down.
Yes. Oh, wow. What? No, I'm not. What did I do? I didn't want to navigate back. You're saying if I'm changing in the drop down, like the
rule.
I mean, update action. Membershipable. That's a very funny word. Members and requesters find new membershipable current user member params. To be honest, like this sounds like a little bit like if you update your own membership. Like
we could look at where that concern is. Yeah. Is that, did that not do anything? Or maybe it is like your own membership.
update membership actions.
Yeah, we could look for references to membership actions.
Group and project. Okay, include membership actions. So update should be like, okay, it's included. Okay. So memberships require access level expires at update params. So update members, update service, new, execute member, find by ID. So it's definitely updating. New current user, update params. What is current user? Update service. Okay, members update service, update params, execute member. Member equals, okay. It's like super weird. So
Do we even use update?
there it is. Yeah. So it's the response on our post.
Beautiful.
You mean brutal?
Look at, but it's not going to do anything. Look at the first line. Right? That's not even a selector. And we're not even doing anything with it.
No. We're doing it. If you look at it, it's returning a list item. Then it's rendering the
creating a
ID
new
of the
one.
member and
I
replacing
see.
it.
Okay.
But to be honest, like this is bad. So does this mean that if someone could somehow escape here, right? Or maybe has like a stupid username like script whatever, right?
Yeah. So if we didn't put the escape JavaScript here,
Yes.
something bad would happen. We could verify that this thing is being run by like maybe want to add a console log to that JavaScript and like, because if it's not even being run, I'd say let's just remove it. Let's not even try to like.
It's definitely run.
You think so?
Yes, because it completely updates like this line, right?
Oh, that.
Like,
Oh, it does.
it like, if, let's see, it's project number 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's break on node removal. So if we now do this, you can see that it mutates the body. Like break on subtree modification, right?
But is that this script that's being run? Or is that like its own update thing?
I mean, that's easy to check. We can just comment this out, right? Like we can just delete it.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Sounds like more than just your family has a cold.
I'm over it. Me and the cold. We're through.
Wait a second. So what are these posts? Response. So they're now empty, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does it do?
Yeah, I don't know if it's being run.
Okay.
But I really just don't know.
Okay. Let's try the good old console log.
Uh-oh, what's that? 404 looks.
Yes, this 404 is just like for. What did I do? Oh, Redis? What?
That
No.
was weird.
No, I don't want to pause on DOM. How do I get the debugger breakpoints removed? Here.
Wait, yeah.
Yep, it's definitely run.
Gosh, it is being run.
But my question is like, we're changing this here, right? And it's just replacing, you can see the icon actually flicker, right? Sometimes. Yeah. So it's replacing the complete row, right? But why? Like,
Because Is this Vue or is this?
Maybe it's about the expiration date. He he.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not Vue. It's definitely not Vue. Is it? No, it doesn't look Vue-y to me.
Can you give me a selector for the dropdown or for one of these rows? I was going to explore.
JS edit member form.
Okay.
Wait, Vue is detected on this page.
I'm sure
Open
it's somewhere. It's also like we also have like a view.
Performance bar.
Yeah.
Remove member modal. So apparently the removal modal is Vue. Like,
Yep.
what is this? Frequent icon search twice. Okay. Yeah, so the selector for this one, for the dropdown, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's JS edit member form.
Okay. Trigger.
Rails.
Oh, is this a Rails thing?
Yes, this is a Rails UJS thingy.
Oh, does Rails like handle this JavaScript
Yep.
callback thing?
Yes, it does.
Put.
This is the put remote true. This remote true is the thing that causes it.
That's the thing that causes it. Where else do we do this remote true?
Often. Just I currently have an MR that replaces not that often.
It's a little often considering, how this is like, fundamental reactive approach. Like for us to unearth this would, somewhat requires
To be honest, sometimes it's really nice because some modals, some will actually just give you confirmation modal. Yeah, here, data confirm. This is the one, like if sometimes it's just like, it just works. Sometimes, and to be honest, like sometimes people are even using it in view files.
You just search maybe remote. Oh yeah. Because
I have seen it like in view files, like method delete stuff. Just replaced one recently, but to be honest, like I'm a bit how we would need to refactor this into Vue, right?
Yep.
Or I actually don't care about the security aspect that much. I care about a different thing, and that's that thing. I hate that thing. I want to get rid of that thing.
What do you have against the U.S. currency system? Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't. I would be sad. I would be remiss if we came across this and the thing that we did was use document, create element, and query selector instead of replacing this.
Well, the thing is, it's just rendered like it's just rendering like this thing, and to be honest, like,
gosh, is this the whole? Oh no, no wonder. Ooh.
Wait. Shared members member, yeah. So
wow.
and just I get shudders when I already see this, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
you badge. Oh, we have an it's you badge? It's you. Nice.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. So here's another approach to this.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of performance hits happening by doing it this way. One is like our Oh, I guess we have a whole bunch of conditions. So the return body isn't going to be so huge of that one JavaScript string. But like we don't really need a return body, but that is, that's going to take up some bandwidth of how long it takes to update. You also, I don't remember what else I was going to say. But anyways, so that we don't have to move all of that over to Vue, and we could still do this in a vanilla JS way. What if we just put that template or that HAML template? Oh no, but I guess we can't. We don't. I guess it's in HAML. I was thinking maybe we could put it in a template script, or like, and then reference it from the JavaScript to like render or update or do whatever it needs to do. But I'm realizing now that we'd still have to do some rewriting of it because we can't like generate a HAML script on the front end. I'm just now getting back. Things are coming to me.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's I think there are different concerns here, right? It's also interesting. Wait, list item name. So it's actually not even replacing the whole thing. It's just looking for this one thing that's called list item name.
We could do it.
So yeah, it's just basically taking this first. Oh wow,
it's taking the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot more. It's a lot more conditionals than it actually is content. What do you think of all this, Jackie? What would you want to do?
Yeah, I'm still a little confused. What's happening after that whole page? Oh, that's the list item that's replacing the page. I don't know. It's just so confusing.
It is confusing.
But Lucas's main goal is to get rid of jQuery, right?
Yes, that's my main goal.
In all of this confusion.
Yes.
You could start there and see what it looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, getting rid of jQuery is probably like pretty easy here because it would just be like, yeah, ooh, yeah.
Here's the thing: if we move this to Vue, like it's a big template, but it's a big win. If we move it to Vue, we also get rid of jQuery, and we don't even need to do this because everything's reactive anyways.
But the thing is, you also need to move all kinds of other stuff to Vue, and maybe in the backend, because I don't know if we have like these methods, right?
We can just form post them. We can still use a form, and we can still programmatically submit the form. Like you can still do that.
It's all Vue and post to the same form.
Yeah, so that's a good point though. IP is like, yeah, so these aren't making Ajax calls. These are like asynchronous form submissions that Rails is like handling, right?
That's what the Rails JavaScript is doing under the hood, essentially, right? It sees, oh, I have one of these forms with data remote, whatever. I'm now going to add an event handler here. And by adding that event handler, I will then do the thing and I will execute whatever JavaScript I get back.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what's happening, right? To be honest, like one of the things that I already would consider as a win if that thing didn't return any JavaScript, but just returned the HTML. And then on the JavaScript side, we did things. But it would mean that that basically changing this to actually return the HTML, like, hey, this is the new user object, and then do the thing in JavaScript. It's just moving the thing by one layer.
That's a good, I think that's a good approach.
The problem is I don't know how to move it right off the bat.
Oh, I think I know how, and I probably don't, but let's try it.
Let me I have this one merge request open that replaces the jQuery Rails UJS thing. Replaces this one. So let me just show you something. There's this merge request open that why is the pipeline failing again? I hope it's so you can see exactly. This is like, oh, where do we have the form stuff? There is like, no, the confirm modal. It's essentially similar with the firm modal, but form submit.
Ooh, that looks cool.
So this is even, wait, form submit in a app assets JavaScript members.
Yeah.
Isn't this the page we're currently looking at?
Yep, it is. Yep.
Toggle date input. What is get member list items this? Wait. So it's actually looking at that drop-down menu. And then when does it submit the form? Okay. So this is actually doing the thing, right? And this is why I'm concerned, because I have this MR which basically moves the stuff over. And then if we now touch the stuff again in another MR, we would potentially run into conflicts, right?
Yeah.
That's just, but wait, member? Like, is this the thing? JS access app.
Yeah, this is the thing. And I think that form submit is called like for either is it one form wrapping both of those inputs?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that form submit is called whenever we need to trigger one of those things. Yeah, like on drop down clicked on line 24/25. Is when we call the form submit. And I think we're not gonna affect it too much. So here's the thing though, like if you go back, because I want us to use our time effectively.
Yes.
It's still a little smelly to be returning, this kind of HTML from the back end, because, the back end technically has multiple clients than just this one thing. So, yeah, we're getting rid of the JavaScript it's returning, which is a big deal. But we still have, the only reason we're doing this JavaScript return is because we still have this underlying problem of reactivity for this thing. And even if we move it to HTML or we get rid of jQuery or whatever, like that underlying problem is still there, which is hurting maintainability, which Jackie brings up a good point. I have no idea what's going on. I think our time might be best spent trying to move this over to Vue, even though it's going to take longer, because there's going to be a much higher reward.
I understand the benefit of what it's doing now not being in Vue. Like, I know it looks big, but I think
my concern is what you're mentioning, that these forms are so complex that moving it to Vue is a big undertaking. And I wholeheartedly disagree with you that because by removing jQuery, we get one step closer to removing jQuery, and literally looking at the methods, like changing these 3 lines to be not jQuery.
Yeah, that's
getting, doesn't leave this code necessarily worse, is not a lot of effort, will still function the same way using the native DOM APIs, and we could eventually get rid of jQuery. Because if the Vue refactor of this is not done within the next,
that's a good point.
months, it will still block us,
I can tell you that right now I am the invite member HTML one. I made a view of that. It's almost ready for review. So this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I replaced that in Vue already, and it's taken a couple weeks, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to replace it, but it's going to be triggerable from any page.
Yeah.
No.
The need for that top part there.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's a good point. And I think, yeah, whatever we do, we should do incrementally. And I think, yeah, you're right, IP. If it's a really low hanging fruit that we can just get rid of jQuery here, even if we plan on removing it altogether later, that's
yeah.
the point.
Long term, that is our
I don't
goal.
know if we can do line 4 without jQuery.
If we can.
Oh, or you can just create an element and then set its HTML, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
He literally just wants to get rid of that dollar sign.
Yeah.
Document what's like create element. Yeah.
Create element div.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I have a great. Can we do the next one after this? Because I know I'm gonna have this problem soon.
Of getting rid of jQuery.
In the invite members page, there's a user search. That's jQuery. It'll be in one of the other files.
Document query selector.
There is like a replace node function in vanilla JS.
Oh. Let's replace child.
Yeah, you give it for the parent. You then pass in the old and new child.
Let me just like replace.
So what we can do.
Okay, it's replace child. Then it's easy. Then it's like const old node equals this one.
Yep.
Oops. Yeah, you know that's right. Old node is this one, and then we do old node parent.
I think it's parent node.
Replace child, and then it would be, what was it? Oh, replace.
No, that's forced to string. Yeah. Don't be so optimistic, IP.
New old node. That's always the problem. Old node, and then it's just like.
Yep.
So this is one where I'm not optimistic, because if we are looking at locals time ago, oh, this is really nice. Local time ago, it's probably like local time ago. Yeah, it expects to be handed jQuery elements, right?
Let's just have it take both and just wrap it in jQuery. Like and then we can still play with it. What do you think?
So you're saying in this one, oh God, where is it now? Update JS. I would just do, oh, but now I'm confused. Like, how is the API of that time ago thingy? Wait, what?
What you could do?
No, look, it's not. This is like weird, because this is like the second parameter of that file is like should be a Boolean.
Yep, that is weird. Yeah,
what happens if we don't do it?
I think that's why that time was changing. You know, like when it was so many minutes ago, you really noticed it, because we would change it like every minute, because those times aren't.
It's also not working. Redeclaration of const node. Oh gosh, because this basically happens in the global scope, right?
Really?
Yes. This happens in a global scope. So if you have variables, it was var before and not, you know.
I guess so.
This is even better, worse. Oh God. See, you didn't have your coffee yet, and I'm already.
Function statement requires a name.
Function statement.
I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, I think you need to immediately invoke it. I think. Yeah. Yes. And I think you need to do function. You don't need the arrow thing. I don't know if that'll work. Maybe it'll work. I haven't ever done immediately.
Old node parent is undefined.
It's parent node. The right keyword is parent node. Yep.
Huh. Expires intended. So it does seem like we don't even need to update. We don't even need to do the time ago thing. Oh. The tool. What? Ugh, I love these states if you end up in something like this.
Yeah. I think it's no harm keeping it. But I see, yeah, you're wanting to get rid of jQuery completely here on this page. We would need to change local time ago to accept. I'm just saying, let's just have it just wrap the arg it takes in jQuery so they can do.
To be honest, like this would already be an improvement for me, and I would not touch the local time ago, and I would rather go down the rabbit hole and fix the local time ago in a different one.
Okay.
So we spent 40 minutes on on changing 3 lines.
I know you hate jQuery, IP.
Yeah.
How he feels about it.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
It is bothering me that this functionality isn't just in view.
Yeah.
That's.
I still feel sad.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a little.
So I think it's interesting. I will have a look because there are not that many of those, right? And just replacing jQuery in there will actually help us do one thing. It will we can stop exposing window.$, and that will mean we can remove jQuery from our main.js, and that means the sooner we start getting rid of jQuery in other JavaScript, the more likely it is that jQuery suddenly disappears from our main.js bundle and is actually just loaded on the pages that are utilizing jQuery, which will be a benefit for especially newly written code that just uses Vue. So yeah, but
issue that's like the gestedest of it.
So the thing is, we haven't created issue. There's an epic regarding jQuery.
Oh, there is. Okay.
There's an epic, but we haven't created issues yet for the individual jQuery usages because currently 400 files use jQuery. And it felt like a bit of an overkill to just create 400 issues. But it's a good point. It probably makes sense to create, one for, hey, let's remove jQuery from the global scope as a first thing,
What do you think of, we have 400 files that use it. What do you think of creating issues per, top level JavaScript folder, like saying, oh, we're going to remove it from JavaScript's clusters and remove it from JavaScript. When we do this, it's really nice seeing, community being able to pick up. And that's how I think we're really able to get these large scale changes done. Because we can include tricks like this of here's how we can get rid of replace with, and then a community contributor can just get going. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Hey, IP, if you're happy getting rid of jQuery here, I'm happy for you.
Let me, Jackie, you were asking about another thing and we just skipped over you. So, or skipped over that. Which search were you talking about?
There is a, hold on, I meant to look for it. It's on the same area. It's in the same area on the same Haml page.
Okay.
It'd be in the invite member, yeah. Is there any in there?
jQuery?
Yeah, at the bottom. Or...
No. Search for, like the user select tag, maybe?
Yeah, this.
Oh, select 2 will have jQuery. Yeah, it's going to be a beast getting rid of jQuery. We do need to identify. I imagine we have. Is that Epic already identified like all of the libraries that we need to replace with non-jQuery equivalents and stuff? And
well, the next issue I'm working on is putting this in.
nice
View.
in Vue. Yeah.
I have no idea how to do it because I can't just copy this because it's all in.
So I'm so glad you brought this up. In IDE world, I think it was in the IDE. Or no, it was in approvals. We had a need for using select 2 in a Vue app. So I wrapped. Yes. So like you can wrap like vanilla JS or jQuery like base components in a Vue component. So there's
Is that a possibility for putting that into Vue?
Yes, it's also a good first step because you basically, if you have like select to behavior, you can basically just have it, move it, and then refactor it. It's a really nice way to do it. Let me just
select 2 somehow in a Vue component. You said?
yeah,
yes.
it would be in. Let me see if I can find the name of it. I think it's select 2. Yeah. Is this it? I think this might be it.
And we're using it already?
All right, give me a quick second. I had to do this as well with the select 2.
Yeah, we have it.
I never would have even thought of that. But okay.
So here you have a Vue file that imports select 2 and jQuery, and then basically on mounted, it creates the select 2. And on before it's destroyed, so if it's unmounted, it just
yes
does its thing. And that template is actually really, really tiny. And as I said, it has the big benefit that we can get rid of, that we can, basically implement a new approver select that's completely based on GitLab UI or whatever, and then swap out the files and basically leave the API to be the same, right?
Yeah. So check out this thing, Jackie, and you might find there's another abstraction where we can just put a select 2 wrapper into its own bucket.
Component?
Yeah, into its own component, because it looks like I was looking for something select 2 specific, but it looks like this has approver specific logic, but it's not much. So it looks like we could abstract this to include.
Would that then mean that we can build this component or something, and then we can use it from any component, but we can also delete all this or we can go into the HAML and put the Vue component there?
Yeah, what's really nice is that select 2 becomes an implementation detail, and that means we can change that implementation detail later on. The downside is we're kicking the can down the road. We're not going to be able to replace jQuery until we actually fix this. I mean, this is going to make it easier for us, definitely, when we do.
Okay, well, I'm going to do that next. So can I bring you both into that?
Yeah,
sure.
Because I'm going to try.
Especially IP. Bring IP into it.
If I'm still here. The thing with select 2, and that's what I mentioned before, is like eventually, it's fine, it's an implementation detail, but if we remove it from the global scope, we are able to have people not suffer through loading jQuery and select 2 on every page, right?
Oh, so this still doesn't use global scope jQuery you're talking about. This is
exactly. So this is lies, right? Even if we have removed all jQueries and select 2s, and this one stays, that then means that just on the pages where the approver select is used, it will be loaded, right? But right now, because we have like main.js, we do import jQuery, and then window.jQuery and window.dollar in the global scope.
To do remove these.
Yes, exactly.
So let me ask you then, so we could take a takeaway from this. Do we have an epic just for global scope jQuery?
This is a very good point.
And if not, I would suggest doing that because the scope of remove all of jQuery is so large that it's a little daunting. But maybe just global scope jQuery, we can really focus on that and be able to create some like low weight issues about it.
There are multiple efforts. The global scope one is probably a good one because I think the only global scope that we have is actually that stuff. Like, I think I need to check.
Okay.
That's a good call out. I will make sure to create a few issues and I will present them in the next front end call.
Cool. Yeah. That'd be awesome. If you want, if you create it, and if you want me to create like the underlying issues under the epic, like I could do that. If you'd want to, however, just let me know if there's anything I could do to help.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks.
Well, this was fun. This was a good conversation and it was good exercise.
One little demonstration.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's also something that we should probably forbid in general. Like we often add stuff to the global scope. So for example, in these utils, earlier we have these common utils, and earlier this year I found like because we add some of them also to window, I believe.
Oh yes. Yep. It's somewhere else. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we have like utils that we add to the global scope, and then, you know, having a look at it, we found out, hey, they are put in the global scope and it's basically their only usage of it. And other than that, they're never used again. And so it's like, oh, good, they're never used again. Maybe we can just delete them. And we were able to delete a bunch of helper functions that nobody used, right?
Oh, that's
and it's
awesome.
sometimes, you know, I don't know about certain helper functions. Sometimes we also have helper functions here that are called common utils, and they are actually just used in one place. And you know, then you can ask yourself, you know, does it even make sense, right? Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, there's another bad boy.
No animate. Disable that rule. Yeah, that's a good point. Globals and singletons. And it pains me. I'm actually going to do this today. You brought it up. We have like a design patterns page in our front end guide. And the only design pattern in there is singleton. I'm going to just delete all of that. Yeah, this is a good conversation. This was really helpful. I've got to hop off. IP Jackie, it was great seeing you all, and thanks for driving.
You both. I'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the help.